You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Listening to the Sports Coma's Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q, and tonight we'll be covering 3 games, actually 2 recaps of the Pelicans' loss against the Sacramento Kings and the win over the young Philadelphia 76ers, of course without Joel Embiid. And also we'll preview the Houston Rockets matchup, the 1-game road trip going to Houston. We'll preview that as well in this show. So welcome aboard, and we appreciate you for joining us here on the Pelican post-game report. And as usual, we give a round of applause to all those that are joining the show and also those who support the show. Subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to the podcast feed as well, so you can be notified when more shows are released. Also, we like to say that this show is sponsored by the PoshLifestyle.com. The Posh, that's P-O-S-H, life, spelled with a Y-L-Y-F-E style.com for all your organic needs, supplements, water filters to clean your water. Also, they have a great selection of organic toothpastes without fluoride in them. They also have shampoos with all of the chemicals, soaps as well, natural soaps, and a lot more awesome products, including heirloom seeds for those who want to take control of their food supply as well. And plus music, everything, a lot of great products at the PoshLifestyle.com. And plus, being that it's Christmas, you can all this month by mentioning the Sports Coma, by putting that in during the checkout in the coupon section, you'll get 10% off on your purchase. So that's a great way to save money during this holiday season. So go to the PoshLifestyle.com and do your holiday shopping. And their mantra is, get your mind and body right with the PoshLifestyle.com. So there you go. Going into the show, it's December the 11th, 2017, podcast 119. We're coming in, and like I said earlier, we'll break down and recap both the Sacramento and Philadelphia games with stats, facts, and breakdowns, plus interviews from Al Gentry, Drew Holiday, DeMarcus Cousins. We'll have their takes on those previous games. Now, getting right into it, Sacramento game, of course, like G Balance said from the Pelican Eye view, was a rock bottom moment for the Pelicans. And I got to say, even though they were facing the Sacramento team that's almost 10 games below 500, 8-17 coming into the game, 4-11 on the road, but this team were able to play well up against very tough teams like Golden State, actually, playing Golden State very well and beating Golden State, if I'm not mistaken. Played very well the last few games. A scrappy young team playing well. Elvin Gentry, of course, he was hot and heated during his post-game report. And we'll get his post-game interview, we'll get right into it. But first, let me give you a few little nuggets, if you will, on this game against the Sacramento Kings. The game featured 12 lead change, 11 ties, with the game led by 47. With the game led at 47, New Orleans scored 6 unanswered points to take a 53-47 advantage in the halftime. The Pelicans pushed their lead to 62-52 with 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter, which is the largest lead of the game, by the way. Now, they trailed 100-91 with about 3 minutes left to go. Then Sacramento closed the fourth quarter on an 11-2 run to force the game into overtime. The Pelicans started doing what they do, turning the ball over, throwing bad passes, and all this kind of stuff. Now, former Pelican Buddy Hield, he hit a serious three-pointer, which is one of the 4 that he hit that night. and he tied the game with 21 seconds remaining. He did force overtime. Now, he scored 18 points off the bench for Sacramento in the revenge game, pretty much, for trading him. Now, Sacramento quickly raced out to a 5-point advantage at an 8-2 run to open the overtime period up. Zach Randolph had 2 3-pointers. Frank Mason added a 23-foot jumper as well, and the Pelicans wouldn't get within 4 points for the rest of the game. And New Orleans had 17 turnovers that resulted in 22 points for Sacramento. New Orleans scored just 12 points off of 20 of the Kings' turnovers as well. So ultimately ended up losing the game 116-109. Zach Randolph was obviously the key man here. He put on a magnificent game, going in the Wayback Machine. He had 35 points and 13 rebounds in 34 minutes of play. Dominated, played really well in this game. Anthony Davis did play in this game, his first game back. He had 18 points and 6 rebounds in 31 minutes worth of action. DeMarcus Cousins had 38 and 11 in this game as well. In 41 minutes, Drew Holiday added 14. Ian Clark off the bench with 15. Wasn't enough. Zach Randolph, 35 points, 18 points from Buddy Hield to help, 14 from De'Aaron Fox, and 12 from Frank Mason. All young guys except for Zach Randolph, who was able to carry the day in magnificent fashion for the Sacramento Kings. A big win for them, for the Kings. Now, before I get off into my tizzy, let's hear what Coach Al Gentry got to say about the loss of the Sacramento Kings.
Coach, what bothered you most about the loss tonight?
They played better than we did. They deserve to win. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter what bothered me or didn't bother me. The bottom line is that they played better than we did, and they didn't stop playing. And we tried to explain that they played that way. You know, they just did it in Cleveland. They did it against Golden State. And if you don't play 48 minutes, they continue to play. And the end result is what happens.
Is where they played that way, Coach, evident on the glass tonight? Second chance points in the paint. Did that hurt?
They outplayed us in every phase of the game. You know, they did. You know, they just kept playing, and they played for the 48 minutes, and they got it in overtime, and they outplayed us.
Did they do something to limit AD offensively? Did they do something defensively?
They outplayed us. That's what they did. They outplayed us.
Just as far as effort or as far as execution? Where would you?
They outplayed us in every phase of the game. So you decide what that is.
Coach, when you talk about the 48 minutes, and that's been something that we talked about in the losses this season, how do you get your players to commit to giving you that full effort?
You either want it or you don't. That's the bottom line. You either want to be good or you don't. Or you can do what we did. But you have to play for 48 minutes. Every team that we play is an NBA team. And every team we play is they're very competitive, and they're very, very, they want to win games. So just because their record is what it is, we're supposed to take for granted that they're not going to play. They're going to play hard. They're young guys trying to establish themselves. You don't think Buddy want to play hard? Yes, he does. He want to win here more than any place. And so if you don't get in and dig in and compete at the level that you're supposed to, then this is what happens. Every single team, this is what happens. They're not, they're not going to go 0-82. They've beaten Golden State, and I told you, it took a LeBron James three-pointer to beat them the other night. And so they're going to play. And so we have to play also. And we get control of the game, and then we screw around. And then we get control of the game, and we screw around. And when you do that, the end result is that when it comes down to the stretch and they have to make shots, there's no pressure on them. There's no pressure on them. And so that's what happens, And so we'll look back at this and we'll say, oh, my God, I can't believe we did that. Well, we did it.
That's Coach Al Gentry, man. And he just, he was upset, man, in the game, and rightfully so. Now, to kind of quantify this is the third year for Alvin Gentry. This is the first time in the 3 years that the team even, looks like a decent team. Of course, they got up 3 games over 500 early in the young season, and then fell back to 500. Now they climb again, they fall again. So this is an up and down situation that's really got Gentry peeved. Now, of course, he's feeling the pressure as well. The general manager's feeling the pressure. The head coach and his whole staff is feeling the pressure for this team to not only get into the playoffs, because even if they get into the playoffs and they get swept in the playoffs, I still think Elvin Gentry gets fired. I'm not going to lie to you. I still think he gets fired, because this team is not a team that we see. Of course, we look at it and say, yeah, this team can make the playoffs in the West. We can see that, bottom 7 or 8 team based upon how they're playing currently. But looking at this game, and we're going to play DeMarcus Cousins in the middle and put the cap on this game and move on to the Philadelphia 76ers recap. It's pretty interesting because looking at what the 76ers did, with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Now, Sacramento they trailed by 9 points with 3 minutes. Now, through the end of the game, the Kings outscored New Orleans 25-9. Sacramento King was 8 of 15 from the field, including 4 of 7 from downtown, while the Pelicans were just 4 of 17 from the floor and 0 for 6 from deep. Sacramento also went to the free throw line 6 times, hitting 5 attempts, while New Orleans was just 1 of 1 from the charity stripe. So this is one of those contests I look at and I say, man, what the hell were they thinking about? This was a win. This was a win. You should have won this game, no doubt about it. This is a team. Of course, they're a young, scrappy team, but you can't even say, okay, well, they were without Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis played and contributed a sum of, I think it was 18 points he put in this game. Yeah, 18 and 6. That's what he contributed. But there's no way an ancient Zach Randolph should have been able to do this against Anthony Davis or even DeMarcus Cousins for that well. I mean, he had 35 points in 34 minutes of action with 13 rebounds. He was the key catalyst that carried them to this victory against the New Orleans Pelicans. So to me, it's asinine. You heard Gentry's explanation. He's absolutely right. They were outcoached. They were outplayed in every facet of the game. And that continues to be a thing. That's why I keep saying about them is that they're an enigma because even when they got 2 of the best bigs, the top 5 in the NBA, the top 4 in the NBA, in my opinion, and Drew Holiday's no slouch himself. And they have very credible role pieces, guys like Jameer Nelson, guys like Rajon Rondo, guys like Tony Allen. Then young prospects, I can't say young prospects with Darius Miller. But in all essence, I think Coach Gentry, the team is inconsistent for a multitude of different reasons. Before I even get into that, this is going to be a season-long journey of if they get it straight. And this is usually around the time. Listen, it's December the 11th. You have a little bit, maybe 3 weeks or so before the year turns to 2018. And once it turns to 2018, that means January, and then you have February, which signifies the center of the NBA season when the All-Star break happens, and then it's into a run for the playoffs. Right now, this is where you build your camaraderie. There have been enough games played to understand what are you supposed to be doing and what you're supposed to do. Now, of course, we had injuries, and the teams have to kind of work themselves into place. But this is professionals here, and basketball is basketball. We rebound, we play defense, we hit the free throws. Problems there. But here's DeMarcus Cousins giving you his take on why they couldn't get the job done against his former team, the Sacramento Kings.
I don't think it was a sense of urgency the entire night. We just kind of coasted through this game, and we gave this team life. We had plenty of opportunities to, just put the game away, and we just wouldn't, put our foot on that pedal full throttle. And, with that being said, they kicked our ass.
Yeah, it seemed like in particular the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, the offense just kind of lost all the rhythm you guys had early in the fourth. What was the issue there?
Like I said, no urgency. No urgency. Okay. Just because we play a team with a bad record doesn't mean, we automatically getting the win. We got to go out and compete every night. And I don't think we came out and competed tonight at all.
To be 13-13, is this, how frustrating is it knowing what you can do and where you are?
It's frustrating. I mean, but there's still a lot of season left, and even with that frustration, we can't, let one game, affect the rest of our season. Just got to continue to learn from our mistakes, get in the lab, better ourselves from these mistakes, and just learn from this. You got to come out and play with urgency every night. You got to come out and compete at a high level every night, no matter if they're 2-20 or 20-2. So that's on. This loss is on us. But
how do you gain that urgency and gain that edge? What change?
I don't know what it takes to gain it, but that should be your mindset coming in every night. Being a professional athlete, come out and compete at a high level. Every night it's about winning the win. That's it.
That's DeMarcus Cousins chiming in, telling you what he needs to do. We need to get better. Boy, that's the understatement of the young season so far. You damn sure do. But we'll finish up talking about the rest of the games. Of course, the Philadelphia 76 recap is ahead on the other side of the break. And also the preview for the Houston Rockets one-game road trip. Stay with us. You're listening to the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View. The new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight-up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFD style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Sports Coma, Pelican post-game show on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network. Going into our second and final segment of the show. We just got you talking about the Pelicans' loss to the Sacramento Kings. 116-109 in overtime. The interviews by Coach Elvin Gentry about that loss and what DeMarcus Cousins said. We didn't show up to play. That's obvious, man. They were lackadaisical, no light in the situation. And it's just like par for the course. The team, it just don't put things in the proper perspective. Of course, they have injuries that they're recouping from. Anthony Davis just missed a slew of games with that groin injury. You're just getting Rajon Rondo back off well, not just getting him back, but he was under minutes restriction a few games ago. He just had a game of a rest. They decided just to rest him. So, I mean, you have those guys in and out of the lineup as well. They still don't have a relevant bench. I mean, you got Jameer Nelson playing well off the bench. Tony Allen is a defensive stopper. Ian Clark is up and down. Amir Asik is just healthy enough coming back from his Crohn's disease to provide some minutes for DeMarcus Cousins to rest during the time when Anthony Davis was not there. With all that said, I still think even if you didn't have Anthony Davis, which they did, they should have beat Sacramento. Now this is I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, and of course Al Gentry, he was pissed. I would be pissed too if I would have lost to Sacramento team. Nothing against Sacramento, by the way, and big ups to Sacramento because they played very well in this game. They were scrappy. They didn't give up. They had nothing to lose, and they came in and stole one into somebody else's building. So big ups to them. But let's see how they respond. That is the Pelicans. They faced the 76ers a day later, 2 days later, of course, in the Smoothie King Center, a.k.a. the Blender. And in this game, the 76ers came in. We thought Joel Embiid was going to play. Of course, Joel Embiid did not play. That was right at the final minutes of the game where he did not play in this game, which was a big thing for New Orleans because that would have been a nice battle to see DeMarcus Cousins and Joel Embiid match up against each other. But Simmons gave you everything you could possibly hope for in this game. 57.5%. The Pelicans, just whatever Al Gentry said to them after that loss to Sacramento, he probably lit into them because they came out in this game and they did an excellent job here. 57.5% that they shot from the field, almost 58% from the field. They were 62.5% from the three-point line. The Pelicans, they turned the ball over 15 times, but those shooting percentages from the field and from the three-point line, that didn't even make a difference. It didn't make a difference that they turned the ball over 15 times or that they were out-rebounded by the Sixers 54-43. Didn't make a hill or spit of difference in this game because they had an outstanding 44-point quarter. After giving up 40 in the third, they come out in the fourth quarter and score 44 points in the quarter. That's just asinine. That's just crazy. But the Pelicans did it. They were able to do it. And Anthony Davis finished with 29 points on the night. Drew Holiday was the star of the game. He had 34 points in the affair. So the Pelicans respond in kind. Now, before we go deep into it, let's hear what Coach Al Gentry had to say about this win that his team had over the 76ers.
Well, Coach, was it the fourth quarter that won it for you tonight, scoring on 12 straight possessions to begin that frame?
Well, yeah, we played well in the fourth quarter and didn't do a very good job in the third quarter. So we gave up 40 and scored 44. So that's not exactly like we'd like to have it happen, but we'll take any win that we can get.
Coach, was there something said between quarters 3 and 4 that turned the game around?
No, I thought the biggest thing for us is that we just did a real poor job on the boards. The offensive rebound that really hurt us, and even when we were playing good defense, we just gave them those extra possessions. You can't possibly think that you can give up 22 offensive rebounds and win. We had to score 44 points to do it. We just got to do a much better job on the offensive boards, keeping them off.
Coach, how's AD? Go ahead. How's AD? It looked like he was running a little bit differently.
Well, he was, and that's why we took him out at the end of the game. There was no reason to try to have, him do something that might keep him out. So the minute we saw him doing that, we took him out.
Hey, Coach, Drew really turned it on late for you guys. How important was, him catching fire towards the end there?
Well, it was really good, but the reason we were able to do that is because we were coming up with stops. We didn't have any. We didn't have any stops. I shouldn't say stops. We had stops in the third quarter, but we didn't finish the possession with the rebounds. And we have to, against this team, and you can see they're a high-energy team, got a bunch of young guys. I think you see Ben Simmons is a really, really special player. He gets the ball where he wants to get it to. It doesn't matter who's guarding him. Does a great job of finding open guys. He's a special player.
Let's go, Al Gentry. Giving respect to Ben Simmons. In this game, they were able to get the win 131-124 over the 76ers. New Orleans, of course, like I said, they shot 57, almost 58% from the field in this game, 63% from downtown. They out-rebounded New Orleans 47-30, meaning Philadelphia out-rebounded New Orleans 47-31, including a 22-5 on the offensive board. 76 outscored the Pelicans in second chance points 20-7 with the game tied at 49 with 4 minutes remaining in the half. New Orleans closed the quarter with a 17-6 run to take an 11-point lead into the halftime period. Now, during the run, Rajon Rondo set up 5 baskets leading to 14 points for New Orleans. And big ups for Rajon Rondo. He had 18 rebounds, not rebounds, but assists in this game. Big time for Rajon Rondo. Philadelphia opened up the second half on a 6-4 run to reclaim the lead with 8.5 minutes remaining in the quarter. The Sixers then pushed the lead to 8 points during the period. New Orleans was held to just 6 of 17, 35% shooting in the third quarter. Trailing by 8 points entering in the fourth quarter, New Orleans opened the fourth quarter on an 18-10 run to tie the game at 103, and with the score tied at 105 with 8 minutes remaining in regulation, Pelicans went on the 12-3 run to take a 9-point lead. With 6 minutes remaining, Philadelphia would not get any closer for 5 points for the remainder of the game as they put up a 44-point quarter to ultimately win the game 131-124. So a lot of points being scored by the New Orleans Pelicans. A lot of points been scored in this game, huge amounts of points, but the Pelicans just continue to they came back in this one. Now it might, some people surmise that it probably would have been a different game because the Sixers came into it shorthanded, of course, without Joel Embiid, who was held out because of back stiffness. It might have been a different game. Philadelphia, a lot of people had Philadelphia pegged to win this game because of the inconsistencies that New Orleans has been showing. And but nevertheless, that didn't happen. We play who was in front of us, and the Pelicans were able to get the win, a quality win against a quality opponent because Philadelphia is a good young team. They beat them 131-124. Here's Drew Holiday's take on the game. I guess you could say Drew was the MVP of the game. He scored 34 in the contest. Here's Drew Holiday.
I guess it was just my turn at that time. Obviously, we were down, and I was having a rough game passing the ball. So at that point, I think when the starters came back in, I just had the hot hand. So they just kept on feeding me. I was chasing it a little bit, but yeah, they just kept on feeding me.
How important was Rondo to you guys to be able to key that fourth quarter?
Huge. I don't think people give him the credit of him pushing the pace, of how he controls the game, especially down the stretch, and to be able to get everybody a good shot, whoever he wants a good shot. So, again, my points are to him. Right when he came back in, everything changed for me.
Coach made a mention there. He kind of joked that you probably don't even remember playing in Philly, or it's not something that bugs you at all that you got traded by him. But I mean, do you relish that moment, being able to play against your former team?
Not really. I mean, it's been 4 or 5 years, so kind of past that. But just seeing the guys that are still there is really cool. The staff and training staff and PR people and all that, strength coach. So it's always good to see them. Again, I grew there. I was a little kid coming in, so they were there for the beginning of my career.
How important is it after coming off Friday's game where the fourth quarter kind of got away from you tonight to be able to have the lead shrink, but then perform the way you guys did in the fourth quarter and close it out?
Right. Resiliency. Obviously, we didn't want to happen what happened last game, so that's all we kept on talking about. Obviously, it's a long game, a game of slumps, and knowing that they are kind of a young team, we kind of felt like if we just stay with our pace and be able to get into the paint and get some stops, we'll be all right.
What happened in that third quarter? I mean, was that an energy issue? Were there breakdowns? Where did you kind of see it?
I think that's when film comes in. I got to go back and watch it. I know for me it was just trying to make something happen because we were losing the lead, and at that time I have to keep my composure. So for me personally, again as a team, that's something.
That's Drew Holiday chiming in on what he believes happened during that period of time, among other topics dealing with the collapse, the 21-point scoring quarter for the third quarter before they exploded for 44 and won the game 131-24 against a quality Philadelphia 76 team. Like I said, Drew Holiday was the game leading scorer. He had 34 points, 11 of 21 in 41 minutes. He was 5 of 8 from downtown, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He played really well, but crediting Rajon Rondo, in effect, was a huge thing as well. Rajon Rondo was a guy that actually really played very well in this game. Rajon was able to not scoring, and this is something we talked about with Rondo. Rondo will give you if Rondo can do double up for you, if he can give you 10 and 10, will be significant. Now he has been increasing his scoring production. He had 13 in this game and 18 rebounds. Now, I this is something that I've been preaching since the season. If you go back and listen to the Pelican post-game reports, since we've been covering them this entire season, and even into last season, is the fact that when Rondo came on the scene, Rondo is the best ball carrier the team has. Now, I know about Jameer Nelson, but I think Rajon Rondo is a higher caliber player than Jameer Nelson is. Not to take nothing away from Jameer Nelson. Of course, Rajon Rondo has a championship. He's played at that level. He's played with Hall of Fame guys. So Rondo knows what it takes to operate that team. That ball should be in his hand the majority of the time in distribution, getting it to people, moving it around. Now Drew Holiday knows as well as I know that he is now an off guard on that team. Now, customarily, he'll drop into a point guard role when Rondo's not on the floor or they don't have an established true point guard. Jameer Nelson is not there or whatever. He'll sink into that role with different packages. But Rajon Rondo, with control of the ball, 18 assists, and he only had 3 turnovers. So, I mean, you can't allow your center, DeMarcus Cousins, wants to bring the ball up and try to make passes and play point center. I mean, I think that's just counterproductive. If you have a bona fide Hall of Fame, because I think Rondo, when it's said and done, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, point guard who can control and run a team who has championship experience, man, what are you letting the center bring the damn ball up for? But anyway, I like the fact that I got to give shots out to the Pelicans in this game. Big ups to Anthony Davis. He had 29 points in 40 minutes. He's supposed to be under some minute restriction. I don't know what minute restriction. He was supposed to be held to, I think, 20 minutes or 30 minutes in the prior game against Sacramento. He played well over that. He played 40 minutes into this game with groin injury. 29 points, 8 rebounds for Anthony Davis in this game. DeMarcus Cousins had a 23 points, 9 rebounds, 34 big game points for Drew Holiday. Then there was 13 from Rajon Rondo with 18 assists, 14 points by Etwan Moore. He turned in, and then of course off the bench, not off the bench. Dante Cunningham also gave him 10 points as well in this contest. So like I said, this was a really nice matchup for them, and that's the great thing about it with everything being said about this game. That's this. Let's move on into our next move and talk about the preview, because of course the Pelicans, now that they win that game, they now go up to 14-3 on the season, and they face a very difficult matchup against, guess who? The Houston Rockets. The Rockets come into focus as the next team now that they will have to face, and the Rockets will be a team. This game will be an I said expensive, but it'll be a difficult game. A lot of people picked at the fact that the Pelicans won't win this game. Now, of course, James Harden is day-to-day. He's dealing with a day-to-day injury. I don't know if Harden's going to play in this game, but Chris Paul is still there, and they still got enough firepower with Eric Gordon playing and the likes. But Houston is the top team in the Southwest Division. They're 20-4. They have won 9 straight games, and the Rockets are red hot. 9 straight victories so far. They're 20-4. They sit on the top. Behind them is the San Antonio Spurs, who are on a 4-game winning streak, 19-8, and then it's the Pelicans, who, of course, on a 1-game streak, they beat Philadelphia 14-13. They're basically stuck in the 3rd spot because Memphis is 8-18 and on a 3-game slide, and Dallas stinks at 7-20 on a 3-game slide. So there is no other team currently in the Southwest that's even attempting to challenge the Pelicans. So they basically stuck in neutral in the 3rd spot. At least 5 games back of San Antonio in the 2nd spot, 7.5 back of Houston. Well, guess what? If you play well enough, you should be able to beat Houston. If you can beat Houston, that'll be an eye-opening experience, because it, of course, will snap their streak and make sure and give the team a lot of credit. A lot of, I guess you could say, a lot of confidence going ahead. So let's go ahead and preview this Houston Rockets matchup. Of course, we know about the fact that Anthony Davis is still dealing with that groin injury. He's day-to-day. Tony Allen is also day-to-day. Jameer Nelson is also facing a few issues. James Harden, we don't know if he's going to play He might be a game time decision. I'm looking at watching the report on now. But looking at some of the statistics for the game, the Houston Rockets averaging 114 points a game while only allowing 103 a game. They shoot 47% from the field and 44%. They shoot 47% from the field. They average about 44 rebounds a game, 23 assists a game, almost 5 blocks a game, 9 steals a game, thanks to Chris Paul. And like I said, they're on the 9-game winning streak, 9-1 in the last 10 games. The Pelicans averaging 110 points a game while giving up 111. Recipe for 500 ball, full 48.5%, 43 rebounds a game, 26 assists a game, about 4.5 blocks a game, 7 steals per game, thanks to large part to Rajon Rondo. And of course, in the last 10 games, they're 500, 5-5 team in the last 10 contests. The Rockets, winners of 5 in a row, like we said, beating Brooklyn, Indiana, the Lakers, Utah, and Portland. The Pelicans, of course, not so good. Winners of the last, they've won out of the last 5. They're 3-2. In the last 5. And, of course, the last win came against Philadelphia. And actually, they should be on a 3-game winning streak if they took care of business against Sacramento. They would be actually on a 3-game streak, but that's old news. Looking into this game, and we thinking about what happens here. Of course, I kind of look at this game, and I say to myself, looking at what Chris Paul brings to the table now, James Harden, we're not exactly certain if James Harden will play in this game. They got him listed as day-to-day. I don't know if he will play in this contest. But the Rockets, man, they are a serious team at where they compete at. Sitting up there where they are, James Harden is the top scorer on his team, averaging 31 points a game. Eric Gordon averaging 14 points a game. You got Chris Paul Harden averaging 32 a game, 18 for Eric Gordon. Chris Paul averaging 14 a game. And they got a lot of guys in double digits averaging, according Harden, Gordon, Paul, Capella, Anderson, and Trevor Ariza. All those guys in double-figure averages. So it's going to be, this team plays really well. They're fast. They play good defense. And they can shoot the 3 from all angles. So it's going to be interesting to see how the New Orleans Pelicans transition defense holds up against a high-flying team like the Houston Rockets. Be interesting, but I'm a Pelican fan, but I'm also a realist in life, and I don't think the Pelicans going to get it done against the Houston Rockets in this affair. I picked the Pelicans to lose this matchup against Houston. They'll come back home and get ready to play some more competition. But that'll do it for this episode of the Pelican Post Game Report. We appreciate you for joining us, and also go to our sponsors. Donate to go to theposhLifestyle.com, support our sponsors, and subscribe to our feeds. Thank you very much. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out theposhlifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. POSHLYFESTYLE.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. Providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.